Well, boys and girls, if you like getting listings and you like getting them consistently and predictably, then you're going to definitely enjoy today's interview and this session here with Suneet Agarwal. Suneet is the founder and the owner of the Best Sac Homes Group. They're a top team here in Sacramento. Did over 200 deals last year and growing quickly. They've actually only been a team for 4 years and they've already hit 200 plus deals. So congratulations to them. And then he's also the owner of Big Block Realty North here in Sacramento. He's also a contributor and creator of content to both Real Closers and Lab Code Agents, two of the, if not the two, biggest and most active Facebook groups on Facebook serving real estate agents. And here today, Suneet has joined us to talk about demographic farming. This is the core of what he's been using to grow his business quickly, to grow his team's business quickly. And it's a big core, it's a cornerstone of what he trains and teaches agents to use as well in their marketing. With that, Suneet, welcome to the Get Listing Summit, my man.
Thanks, Andre. Pleasure to be here, and thank you so much for having me, man.
I'm excited to jump into this today. So you have not been in real estate as long as many of the other speakers, yet your team is already doing over 200 deals a year. You're also the owner and managing broker for your location, for your Big Block location here in Sacramento, your brokerage. You're impacting a lot of agents. You're contributing and creating value on two of the biggest Facebook groups here in the industry. I'm curious why, with all the technology and all the different types of shiny objects and interesting things that agents can do, why is it that you feel like demographic farming is the core thing and the key cornerstone thing that really works well for getting listings?
So thank you for the compliment, first of all. Appreciate it. You know, we hear it all the time. Listings is how you win at this game, right? Get listings to last. Listings create every other opportunity out there. More signs in the ground, more eyes at your branding. And it's really a way for you to kind of control your income when in many cases, for all the agents out there listening, I know there's a ton of them, you know, buyers, stuff can happen, right?
Right.
So there can be a circumstance about 90% of the time when you put a sign on the ground, that seller really wants to sell. 90% of the time. So that's why I say, right, if you consistently work on getting listings, then your real estate career will be much more stable. Especially, I mean, you know, there's commission contraction right now going on. There's all kinds of other open door and these other possibilities. You just need to have listings in your pocket at all times. All times.
When you got into real estate, did you start focusing on real estate right away?
When you got
into real estate, did you start focusing on listings right away?
I did not. When I first started, I was just focusing on whatever I could get. Turns out my third transaction I did have as a new realtor was a listing. Okay. And I screwed that one up. I ended up paying half my commission, all my commission to the seller. Thank goodness the seller was my mom, and she kicked me back some money. But I learned my lesson quick and learned that I really wanted to, you know, focus on listings. And let's face it, listings are sexy, right? Everyone wants to be a bad listing agent, so.
Well, as they say, right, if you get the listing, buyers are a byproduct of listings.
Yeah.
Right? They'll just naturally occur. Okay, so demographic farming. How do you approach demographic farming? What's your strategy or approach or mindset to demographic farming effectively to generate listing opportunities?
So, you know, let's kind of define what demographic farming is, right? I'm sure everybody out there knows what geographic farming is.
Right.
You pick a zip code, you pick 100 houses, somebody who's lived in their house for longer than however many amount of years. Still at the same time, it's really just, I don't know, throwing darts in the dark. Pick the analogy, right? It's a long-term game. You may be spending all this money on people who have no intention of moving. You don't know what's going on in their life. You just know that they live somewhere. They've lived somewhere for so long. You know, chances are that they may need to sell. wouldn't it be smarter to focus your money and your intention on people that are highly likely to sell? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? So most of the people that are highly likely to sell usually are under some form of duress or distress, right? They're distressed homeowners. What's a distressed homeowner? They're behind in taxes. They're behind in payments. They have a notice of default, right? They've missed more than 3 payments. They are an out-of-town absentee owner. Doesn't want to deal with their tenants, right? Probate, divorce, and of course, expireds and for sale by owners. I tend to focus less on that piece, more on the probate, notice of default, divorce, tax liens, notice of sale. Those 5 are my kind of cores for demographic farming. And chances are, like, these people either have to sell and are in many cases lose their house, right?
Right.
Notice of default, these people are likely 4 or 5 months behind.
Well, bottom line, everybody you're describing, from what I'm seeing, looking at as I'm taking notes here, basically everybody there, from a marketing perspective for you, they have real urgency in their life. You don't have to create any urgency. Like, you already know the urgency is there in their life. At this point, you're showing up to solve a problem.
Exactly.
I like that. That's smart.
So I started doing this about 3.5 years ago. And, I'm going to be the first to admit it. Sometimes I kind of half-ass it.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it's very successful in pulling, a couple listings kind of on autopilot every month.
Okay.
At least getting in the door for a listing appointment, which is getting the listing appointment is harder than actually getting the listing, right?
Right.
So
is that because, just to be tactical, is that because the homeowners in these situations are a little bit maybe upset, or kind of like, why do you think it's hard to get the listing appointment than the listing?
Why do I think it's harder to get a listing appointment than a listing?
Yeah, when it comes to these sources.
Well, I'm just talking about from like a marketing aspect, right?
Got it. Okay.
Getting a listing appointment can be more challenging than actually when you go in the house and closing
and winning the listing
appointment. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So probate, divorce, NOD, tax liens, and notice of sale are your core 5. Your core 5 demographic, and so demographic farming sources or targets. And so for you, that's how you define demographic farming. It's not based upon income, age, or what people might traditionally think of as demographics. You're defining it based upon these 5 categories.
Yes.
Okay, got it. How are you coaching agents? Like, for example, let's say an agent joins your team, right? How are you coaching them to effectively market to this demographic?
So the first step is always data.
Okay.
Right? So where are you going to get the data from? The 2 best sources I found, Property Radar is good.
Okay.
I prefer Rebo Gateway because, to be completely transparent, it's cheaper, right?
Okay.
It's like $100 a year.
Okay.
And you get there's other sources of data that are maybe quicker and more expensive. But for my purposes, Rebo Gateway works fine. So Step 1, get a Rebo Gateway account, right? And step 2 is find your list, make your list, add to your list every week, right? And at that point, it really becomes kind of an all-out barrage on these people, getting in front of them and going in for the appointment. Mind you, you're not the only one with this list.
Right. Just like you're not the only one with a FSBO list or an expired list. There's competition.
Exactly.
But I have to imagine there's a little, maybe I'm wrong. Would it be accurate to say that there might be a little bit less competition with these kinds of lists, or do you think that that's not accurate?
I think that it's accurate just because people don't know. Every time I talk about this, people's eyes go, what? Like, holy, up and down. Like, this is amazing.
Right.
But I don't want to be the 100th person to call a friggin' FSBO or expired. I mean, And those calls are kind of brutal anyways, right? So, I mean,
Right.
I'm not a big fan of doing them. I know there's plenty of agents. I'm sure you've spoken to tons of agents who love them.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm cool on getting beat up. So
Gotcha. So step one, get the data, Property Radar or Rebo Gateway. Step two, make your list, add to it weekly, refresh it because it's updated weekly. Step three, all out, game time. It's game time. Get in front of them. So what's your strategy for getting a listing appointment? What do you find is most effective?
So this is what I do is I send them a piece of mail every week, and the mail piece is different. I'll use a yellow letter postcard. I'll do a fancy like postcard, real estate postcard, like from Corfax. I use Hyper Farmer. He has some good ones on this. And then I send a hand 2 envelopes written out with like a Disney stamp on it with a letter inside.
Okay.
So 4 different pieces. Some are from Sunny, some are from Suneet. Each have one of my different phone numbers, so none of it looks the same. And after 4 or 5 weeks of mail, either I've got them or I don't. Right.
So your marketing or outreach strategy is entirely mail based.
And my ISAs, beat the crap out of them. Absolutely.
Okay. Got it.
Calling
them how often?
Until I tell them to stop.
So you don't stop them. So the mailing stops after 4 or 5 weeks. The calling doesn't.
Yep.
Until there's something happens. They say, do not call me again, or you tell them not to call.
Yep.
How often are the ISAs calling per week, per day, per hour, per minute?
So once or twice a week is good.
Okay.
I give my ISAs a bunch of different lists, and just one day I'm like, hey,
okay.
If I wake up in the morning and say, maybe we should hit the list, guys, call it.
And are they calling the list in correlation to or within the context of the mailer? Like, say, hey, following up on a letter that you got from Sunny, did you see it?
No, they're just calling. That's
completely standalone and separate.
Standalone. So my whole marketing endeavor here is everything is standalone, right? Hoping that one of the 5, 6 different things resonates with the homeowner.
Are you doing that intentionally?
Yes.
You don't think that I'm just curious, you don't think having some sort of a contextual correlated effort wouldn't be better, or you think it's better to leave them? Why do you think it's better to leave them separate?
So I've tried it with one standard mail piece that went out, all branded for real estate. It didn't work out for 4 months. Not one single call.
Okay.
When I do it this way, I get calls every week. Okay. Right? Some different piece is resonating with somebody.
Got it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. The reason I'm asking, exactly why I'm asking, because I would hear most agents or teachers or trainers say that, when you send out a mailer, then the ISA follow-up is about that mailer. So there's context for the follow-up. You know what I mean? But you're saying just completely standalone, separate, whatever works to get them in.
Just barrage.
Got it.
Barrage every which way.
Is there a day of the week that's best to mail, or you just, like, how often do you pull a list? Do you refresh your list every Monday, then mail out Tuesday, or how do you do it?
Mail out Tuesday, so they get it Thursday, Friday.
Got it. Okay.
So then they can look at it over the weekend.
When you pull that list and refresh it from Rebo Gateway, are your ISAs calling it even before you send the first mailer?
Yep.
Got it. Okay.
They know how to go in and pull the list themselves when they do it once a week. No.
Okay, awesome. So step 1, data. Step 2, make your list, refresh weekly. Then step 3, all out pursuit. You're sending one piece of mail every week for 4 to 5 weeks. It's always a different piece of mail with a different telephone number, but it all goes back to you. So somebody could use something like Grasshopper or one of those tools to like change up a telephone number, but make it all local numbers.
I use Call Action.
Okay.
Which, is a great product for your listeners out there.
Callaction.com.
Callaction.co.
Okay.
And that is it's a stellar product.
Okay. Got it. All right. Callaction.co.
And then, then go in, provide value. I've gotten listings where people were in notice of a sale. They hadn't made a payment in 9 months. and they had 70 freaking grand worth of equity. So not only did this guy was he able to sell his house, but he got paid a ton, right? So it's all about timing and consistency, just like anything else in your marketing in business.
How far out do you geographically farm this? What's your radius? How far? Sorry, how far?
I'm in Sacramento.
Yeah.
I do all of El Dorado County, all of Placer County, all of Sacramento County, and all of Yolo County.
So how many miles is that roughly?
El Dorado's massive. To Yolo, I don't know, 100 miles maybe?
100 plus miles? Okay, so you're not doing any, I mean, I'm not saying you're not, but you're saying this strategy, this specific strategy, demographic farming, is irrespective of any geographic stuff. It's just purely you're looking for people who fit this category in terms of one of those 5 leading indicators: probate, divorce, NOD, tax lien, or notice of sale.
Yep.
That makes a lot of sense.
I have agents who live all over on my sales team.
Okay.
So if somebody's deep in El Dorado County, which, is deep, I'm really not going to drive out there. I have great agents that live up there that can go take the listing.
Gotcha. Okay. Before I transition to the next topic, a quick little question. Does my hair look good?
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Next question.
Better.
That's called a little pattern interrupt. It's a jolt things awake. You know what I'm saying? It's late in the day here. We're both drinking our coffee and our tea. I would have to imagine, so you know how you were saying that calling FSBOs or expireds is a little bit, you're in for a beating, especially because you're the 50th agent to call them or the 30th or whatever. I have to imagine that there's some sort of there's some psychological stuff at play too with people that fall into one of these demographics, and I'm sure it's an unhappy situation, right? What have you learned to be the best approach mindset wise and script wise? I don't think scripts and dialogues is a dirty word, but I also feel like some agents are way too canned with it, right? So I would say my question more so is, what's your approach mindset wise and framework wise? Like, what are you looking to establish in terms of communication with them? Are you asking a lot of questions? Are you trying to be their helpful friend? Like how are you approaching them with where they're at in this timing and season of life to make them feel like, I can talk to Suneet. He's actually not going to, he's here to help me.
So just, real quick to address something you said, we do use a script.
Okay.
Not a specific, it's not a situational specific script, because a lot of people are embarrassed.
Okay.
Right? If they got a divorce, their wife or husband left them and now they got to sell the house. Like, who's proud about that?
Right.
Losing your house, right? If you have kids and all this, like, no one wants to.
Right. Notice of default. You're not making your payments.
Yeah. So, so the dialogue and script that we use is more along the lines of just a circle prospecting script. Not, hey, Andre, I noticed that you didn't make your payments for 6 months. You want me to come and sell your house? Right? Like, that is horrible. But it's more about, this is Suneet with Big Block Realty. We have a buyer actively looking for a home in your neighborhood. Are you considering selling your home anytime soon? I probably slaughtered that. I don't make the calls anymore, but something along those lines. Your typical circle dialing script.
That's really interesting, though, because that you're calling people in a situation where they're a lot more likely to sell, but you're not calling out the situation that they're in. You're treating it as if you don't know any better.
Yep.
That's really interesting, because most would say, direct response marketing strategy 101 is name their pain point, right? Identify their pain point, squeeze the pain point, and then show them how you can solve it. But you're basically, if I'm hearing it right, you're saying these issues are typically a little bit shameful socially, right? There's still shameful stigma. I'm not saying they are, but the stigma attached to them socially still pretty kind of has some shame around it. Nobody wants to be talking about it or have to hear about it. That's really interesting.
Not with a stranger.
Yeah, exactly right. Did you initially start doing first marketing to this demographic, talking about the NOD or the divorce, and then switched it up, or did you know out of the gate?
Yes and yes. So by
You knew better, but you still did it the wrong way because that's what
yeah,
everybody said to do it.
masterminding with agents around the country who have been very successful with stuff like this.
Okay.
They've said, hey, if you talk to these people and bring up what's going on in their life and you're a random, it's not going to get very far, right? And direct response marketing, we do that more in the mail piece, right? Instead of on a phone call.
Got it. But even in the mail piece, you're not mentioning their issues, right?
No, in about half of the mail pieces I am.
You're testing. No mention, yes mention.
Yes.
Got it. Standard circle prospecting, circle farming script in a postcard. Mention the, hey, it's really shitty that you had to go through a divorce, but
we can help.
Call your boy Sonny. Holla at your boy. I got you.
Basically, okay.
Yeah. What service are you using for the postcards? Do you have a service that you like?
Yeah, so I like the Hyper Farmer.
Hyper Farmer?
Yeah, hyperfarmer.com is owned by my buddy Jason Holdinsky. I use him for all my farming pieces right now. I also like yellowletters.com. Really cheap and well tested out mail pieces. Great resource.
Okay, hyperfarmer.com and yellowletters.com. Okay, cool. This is really, and then call to action, callaction.ca was another tool you mentioned.
.co, yeah.
Yeah, .co, sorry, .co. And then Property Radar and Rebo Gateway. All right, very cool. So you're mailing them 4 to 5 weeks, direct mail. If after 5 weeks the mailers don't get a response, you stop the mailers, but the phone calls keep up. And you what? Just ad infinitum, keep calling them until they say do not call me, or what?
Keep calling them.
Okay, once a week, 1 to 2 times per week.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
Like I just text my guys, hammer that list.
Is there anything unique about when you get them on the phone? Let's say that they call the telephone number off the postcard, right? For example, not speaking with a nice day.
Golden, right? When they actually call you,
right?
Hey, I got your letter in the mail. Oh, great. Is there a time for me to come over and check out the property so we can discuss some different options? Sure.
So that was my question is like, what's that script like?
That's it.
Go
for the appointment.
Got it. Just immediately.
Yep.
Because you know that they're calling you about it anyway.
Yep. And that's one of the good things about call action is when they call, it tells me what mail piece that they called off of. So yellow letter, personal letter, postcard, it comes up on my phone. So I know, hey, this is a listing. It works well.
Okay. Some sort of tracking marketing source. So if they dial the number, then it automatically tells you in the call.
Yep.
That's handy.
Handy.
Yeah. So you know what marketing source they're calling off of. You just don't know where geographically they're calling from.
Yeah, I don't care where they're.
Yeah, you're not doing that many different telephone numbers to say this is the El Dorado number. This is the.
I mean, okay. I suppose I could, but
it's not that important. But at least you know it's a listing call.
Yes.
Okay. And they never call in to say no, thank you. The people don't do that. So if they're calling you, they're interested.
Well, sometimes they call and say, where the F did you get my data? You're the 4th person. I can't believe this. I'm going through a hard time.
Ooh, what do you say then? I'm your boy, Sonny. I got this. I got you.
Yes. You know, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I'm so sorry that you are being annoyed. I just really want to be able to help you in case you need it. Is there a good time for me to come by so we can discuss this in person? And by then, they've usually hung up on me and told me to go somewhere. But
unpleasant.
Yeah.
But I have to imagine that sometimes they convert.
Oh, absolutely. And just because they hung up on me and yelled at me, they're still being called on the list, right? So
you're establishing that you're their friend. You really care.
Yeah, I really care.
All right. It's different for different markets, but in your case, just so we can hammer out some rough numbers, how many new prospects are added to these 5 sources on average per month? Are you finding 20 new opportunities Data, just pure data updated weekly on a monthly basis. Are you getting 100 opportunities, 25?
I would say so in the 4 counties that I cover, the amount of data is different. Some counties don't give the divorce data. Some counties don't give the tax lien data. So, and I forget exactly how it works right now, but that's what I found, right? Is it's not always consistent, right. So I would say 25 to 30 new ones a month.
Okay.
Just it was not even that expensive, right? Sure. If you send each one 4 or 5 letters, that's less than $200.
Right. It's pretty passive. Yeah. Okay. So 20 to 25 new opportunities per month. And how many listings are you pulling per month on average?
When we do this consistently, we're good for 6 listings a month.
Wow. Okay. What does consistently mean?
Making sure we hit it every week. Pull the new
updated every week, mailed every single week, remailed every week, called twice a week.
Yep. Which, okay. I mean, honestly, I'm doing a million different things. I have 10 different hats. That could be a challenge. But right now I have my office manager's daughter working on it, and she's crushing it.
Awesome. Very cool. Get a focused set of eyes on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Do nothing but that. Okay. Own that bag. Okay. Yeah. 6 deals. Okay, that's not bad at all. That's 6 times what? 10 is 60 plus another 12 is.
I would say 6 appointments a month.
Right? Okay, 6 appointments.
And so let's say you convert half of them, so about 3 listings a month.
Okay, so 36 to 40 listings a year is reasonable for you to expect in your market.
Yeah, and I mean some are complete shitholes, right? The person hasn't made a payment in 3 years. The house doesn't always look that good, right?
Right.
Some are just people with crazy circumstance.
Gotcha. Are you finding that this creates an opportunity for you to create a Rolodex of investors that you can feed deals to when you find somebody's willing to sell?
I feed a good percentage of these to my investors. And
got it. Okay. And I have to imagine that creates a reciprocal relationship with this investors kind of use you to list.
Yeah.
I'd have to imagine there's a understood implication to the relationship.
Most of the successful investors these days, I'm noticing, have their real estate license too, right?
Right. Okay.
So it at least allows me to double end it on the purchase. And if they don't have their real estate license, then I can get the listing. But it seems like everyone I work with went and got their damn real estate license, my man. So
yeah, well, margins are shrinking, right? So everybody's looking for that extra margin. 6% or 3% or 3% on a real estate deal that's a good chunk of change. Yeah. That's why you're in real estate. That's why we're all in real estate.
Why are these guys getting their licenses? Oh, same as I did.
Oh, wait, because they see the same dollar opportunity that I do. Oh. 3 to 4 listings a month from 20 to 25 opportunities. So you're basically saying, correct me if I'm wrong, but is it fair to say that you can, with consistent follow-up, the way you've described it, would you say it's fair to say that 10% of opportunities can turn into a listing?
Yeah.
Because you're saying, out of 30 a month, you're getting 6 appointments. So, and half convert, that's 10%. So it's possible. So then if somebody goes to Property Radar or Rebo Gateway or Property Radar and looks up, 50-mile radius to see what data is available, 100-mile radius, you look at that number, you can kind of ballpark estimate that you might be able to get 10% of that as listings if you stay consistent.
I mean, there's been times where I have said, oh, crap, I haven't done a mail drop in a couple of weeks. I should do one. I fire it up of 10, and I get 5 appointments.
Gotcha.
There are times when I send it out every week, do the consistency, and nobody calls.
So it's just stay consistent.
Just stay consistent.
Yeah, and when it hits, it hits.
Yeah.
And it averages out to maybe approximately 10%.
Yeah.
Turn into listings. Go all the way from data to listing.
Yep.
That's a good conversion rate. Do you know what the average conversion rate is for an internet lead?
Yeah, like 1%.
Yeah, 0.5% to 1%. If you're really, really, really good, like Jeff Cohn's team, who has a 6-month marketing plan down to the T in the day, in the time and the T in the day, then maybe 2.5-3%, maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's like there's a whole ISA team with a manager and structure and like
Yeah.
It's a military operation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're doing big things for sure out there.
Yeah, no, so just it's such a but in context and comparison, they're putting that much resources. This is what I'm hearing. I mean, I see teams putting that much resources into 3% conversion, right? You got something cooking over here that doesn't take nearly as many resources, which makes this a lot more accessible to every agent listening on the summit. Like this is a lot more accessible to do, even the consistency that you've outlined. 20 to 30 people, I mean, an agent can handle that themselves, dude.
Absolutely. But let's not get it twisted. I also spend tens of thousands of dollars every month on the buy side online.
Sure.
Let's not get it twisted.
No, I get it. But I'm just saying this one strategy, though, alone.
Yeah, one agent can handle it themselves.
Yeah, it's pretty accessible is what I'm saying. Financially speaking and time-wise and data-wise, it's pretty accessible.
Yeah.
It's one postcard mailer every 4 weeks to the same piece of data, and then you stop, and then you call them 1 to 2 times per week. So every Monday and Thursday, you give them a buzz.
Any agent can do this, get started.
Yeah, you load up the telephone number to Mojo Dialer or whatever, or Sales Dialer or whatever, and just they're all some sort of situation like this, and just call them.
With like 30 numbers, do you even need Mojo? Like save your money?
Probably not, but I'm just saying if you add 10 numbers a week, somebody's gonna have an excuse for why not. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying you might get to a rotation of 100 numbers in 3 months.
Yeah.
You know, so then a Sales Dialer might help. And the point is, like you said, it's a circle prospecting script, so it doesn't matter that you don't know on the phone. Am I calling a probate, a divorce, an NOD? Or you can categorize them if you want as a separate list. The point is, it's a circle prospecting script. Hey, we have a buyer interested in your area looking to buy a home. Was wondering if you'd be willing to sell. If you could get the right price, call me.
Yeah, and you know, for a lot of these agents out there with time and huevos, if you got them, go and door knock that sucker, right?
Deploying the same circle prospecting script, right?
I would.
Yeah, not talking about, hey, sucks that you're an NOD. Should we sell? I'm here for the listing appointment.
Like, there are better ways, I'm sure, to convert these. Go get a FedEx package, put a CMA in there, put it at their door.
Sure.
Do all these things. For me, in my busy schedule, this is about all the energy I have, right? Maybe I should hire someone to do it for me. In fact, I'm saying this and I'm telling myself, why haven't you hired someone full time? There are ways to convert this at a higher level. Absolutely.
I would be so curious to know how effective it would be for somebody to get in a car, roll up, walk up to the house, knock, and be like, I'm here for the listing appointment to talk about selling your home because you're in default or whatever. I'm telling you right now. I tell you right now. Bigly conversion. It would have a bigly conversion rate. I swear, I don't know why. My theory is that it would convert better than you think. If somebody has to do it for fun, like a TV show almost mindset, where it's like, I don't care if I don't get the listing. You just got to roll up, like have a hidden candid camera, like somebody pulls up like 20 minutes ahead and hides somewhere. Just got to videotape it. Blur out the owner's face when they, open the door. I would almost do that as a joke for my marketing for me. I know we're like going off a little tangent, but this is too funny. Almost do. How many agents would watch that and would it go viral, right? Me door knocking and saying, hi, I'm Andre. I'm here for the listing appointment because you're in default and you need to sell.
I'm not going to do that, bro.
I can tell. I can tell this is a lost cause with you. But the hypothesis remains. I hypothesize that this would work better than you might think. I might do this as a funny video.
Yeah, like, so right now we're on Zoom and I'm looking on my desktop and I have lists friggin' everywhere. Like, here's a notice of sale list for Sacramento. I have all these lists on my desktop, right? So this one, phone numbers, bedrooms, bathrooms, parcel numbers.
You have their telephone numbers when you pull these lists, right?
Usually, yeah.
So you could do a custom audience on Facebook.
Yep, I definitely could.
I like that. There's a lot of thoughts that just went off in my head about that.
Yeah, and of course, I have thought about that in the past as well.
But you do that in tandem with the mailer so that your face and brand and name is everywhere. You're suddenly everywhere in their life.
Yep, you're omnipresent in their
And you
life.
have their telephone number, so that means that you can do what? You could FaceTime them too.
I would rather do a video text.
That's true. Okay.
And for all the listeners out there, be careful with mass text because
you can get in trouble for that. Yeah. Yeah. That's an individual text.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe a little bomb video.
Yeah. I don't have so many emails. Let me see.
That's right, because it's property radar on Rebo Gateway, you're more likely to get a telephone number than an email address.
Yeah, you have their bank, mailing address, parcel number. I don't see any emails.
Okay. Well, telephone number is important. Address and telephone number is the important ones anyway. The name, telephone number, and address.
Not to say that you can't
find it.
Yeah. Do like a skip trace or something and get everything, right?
You know who you should put into hire for 3 months as and pay as a consultant? A really good bounty hunter. They're really good at data, man. I'm genius. I should be charging you for this.
LexisNexis. So I heard LexisNexis is the best source for data.
Is it?
I uses.
I just think, but it's time. You're busy, right? So real estate team could hire a bounty hunter for 1 month and learn exactly how they go about finding all the data, and then you just use that as a system.
Yeah. I think it's LexisNexis, honestly.
Okay.
Or been verified or Intellius, right? Those are ones subscription-based online that you can pull a bunch of data. I've
reverse looked up telephone numbers and license plate numbers using Intellius when I've had situations in life where I had to figure out who somebody was up to something no good, and I've used Intellius and it's very effective.
Okay, yeah. So
$5 a record is last time I used it. $5 a record per record.
So I think you could probably get a monthly thing.
$50 a month or something like that. Awesome. All right. So step 1, data. Step 2, make your list. Step 3, follow up consistently, and you map that all out. When agents hear you train on this and they hear you presenting on it and they walk up to you afterwards and they ask you questions about it, I'm curious to know, what's a question that you wish they asked you more often about this that you don't hear them ask often enough?
That's a hard question, Andre.
Wow. It's the first time you've used my name in the interview. That's a hard question, Andre. Let me ask you this. I know it's a hard question. It's intentionally designed that way. The reason is because I don't know what I might not be asking that you might want to talk about. So
here's the thing is, I wish every agent who heard this said, wow, I can't wait to start this tomorrow.
Okay.
Of all the times I've taught this, and some have been on major stages across the country, not that major, but major to me. There's more than 2 people in the audience. I just wish more people would do this, right? And I know teams that sell and get, hundreds of listings a year from doing this, and wholesale deals too, right? And flip opportunities. So,
and maybe buy them and hold, rehab and hold, and cash flow. Yeah.
There's a team in Southern California that I know. They do this all day. They pay for the best data, and they absolutely crush it. Like, they shit on us, absolutely.
Really? And they're a real estate team, but this is just a big leg of their deal opportunity.
Real estate team, they also wholesale, and they also flip.
Yeah, okay, they're diversified. Yeah. With a few minutes that we have left, I'm curious. I want to get your perspective on this. So you said something earlier. So thanks for everything that you've shared on demographic farming. I think we've come to a place where we've kind of explained it really well. Would you agree?
Yeah.
We've covered it well. Perfect. Okay. Thanks for all those resources, by the way, that you mentioned. Property Radar, Rebo Gateway, callaction.co, Hyper Farmer, and Yellow Letters. Very, very thorough. So now with the few minutes that we have left, I actually kind of want to highlight something, reach back and pull something from the beginning of the interview that you mentioned, commission contraction. And I'm just curious because you got the high level picture, because you've got a real estate team, then you've got a brokerage, right? So you wear multiple lenses and you see the industry through multiple glasses. My question for you is, I've been noticing of late that a lot of teams and high performance teams are starting to move into diversification a little bit. getting diversified in terms of deal types, creativity, business types. Sam Karamian really well. He's been on the summit. He's, as you know, and you're yourself and Kevin Markarian, people who are getting diversified in a lot of different ways and opportunities within real estate. And I'm watching this happen, and it's happening a lot more now than it was even 3 years ago or 4 years ago when I first started doing interviews. It's happening more often, and it's happening more intentionally. Do you feel that that's a response to just commission contraction and like pressure from technology and just pressures that the industry is facing? Or why do you think that's happening, this like intentional diversification more so than ever before?
So, I mean, let me give a quick preface to this, right? With contraction. My team and myself are one of the biggest Realtor.com clients in the damn country.
Okay.
Top 20 spenders, right?
Okay.
Last week, I don't know if you saw it, I was on Inman. I was in 3 different podcasts. I was in 2 different webinars, all about Realtor.com, right? My sales team were very focused on just Realtor.com leads. They're easy to close, bottom of funnel, whatever you want to say, right?
Okay.
With the possibility of them changing to a nationwide referral model, it can wipe teams out. If 90% of your closings are from one lead source, and that lead source now wants 25 and wants 30 to 35% upon closing, you just eliminated the role of the team leader. Right?
Right.
So so now let's go into what we're talking about. Why is it important to be diverse? Well, I need as many streams of real estate and as many streams of income as possible. I just feel comfortable in the real estate space. So why not try and milk it every which way? Right? Talk to Sam. Sam is the OG at this. Definitely not learn most of what I'm saying from Sam, but from mortgage companies, escrow companies, to all the ancillary services, right? There's people with paint companies, with house cleaners, with carpenters, with everything, right?
Right.
Once again, I'll refer back to Sam on this.
He and I did an interview on it. Specifically, I called it Empire Building, Empire Thinking.
Yeah, but I mean,
really diversified.
For those of your listeners who were in the real estate industry in 2007, 2008, like I was in the mortgage industry. I banked 100% on mortgage deals, and my ass got handed to me when the market crashed. Right. It's 11 years later, and I for damn sure don't want it to happen again now that I have a wife and kids. So whatever stream of income I can get, I'm going to take.
And that's really the only way to create security against change, a sudden change you have no control over, like Realtor, with what Realtor, is doing right now, what Realtor.com is doing right now, is because, well, you don't control it. So you have to be, the only way to be anti-fragile is to be diversified, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something, right, like I'm trying to embrace more and more each day.
Right. Yeah, you have to counterbalance that with the advice of pick one thing and get really good at it.
Yeah, and
right? There's a tricky balancing act.
Was Realtor.com, right?
Right.
They would fly me, Realtor was flying me around the state speaking on their behalf.
I'm sure you've had private phone calls with them. What can you reveal or divulge? Not like inside information, but just like.
This is what's happening right now is there have been select markets where they have made it unable for team leaders, brokers, and real estate agents to continue to buy leads.
Okay.
There's been people.
They just turned it off.
Well, they didn't turn it off like that. They've given them, I've heard some cases 2 months, some cases 1 month. Okay. There's a lot of stuff going on out there. So what I'm hearing is that, for instance, I have some friends who own a successful brokerage and team in Minnesota. They got a call that said in 30 days, you will no longer be receiving Realtor.com leads.
Dang.
Right.
Damn. And imagine just getting a call like that and just click.
Yeah. So they got that call. They were poised to close 300 homes from Realtor.com this year. Right. So there goes their business plan. They're going to pivot now to something like Ylopo. Right. But so In certain markets, Realtor.com is doing that, switching to a referral program with Opcity.
Okay.
I believe that it's a total experiment in select markets. How they chose their markets, I don't know. Maybe something with lead availability or inquiries or whatever it is. I don't know,
Yeah.
right? And I bet that Realtor.com will consider their findings in these different markets before proceeding to a national level. I think when you're one of the top sources of your income is selling leads, and then you try and refer them to agents or hope to get more money, that seems, I mean, whatever. Rupert Murdoch and News Corp own Realtor.com, right? Those guys are way smarter than you and I, right? I'm sure they've done some kind of testing. To me, my surface knowledge of the situation, I don't see how it's going to work as well.
Got it.
Right. So wait and see. In the meantime, what should every agent who's listening to this podcast do? Be diverse. Don't depend on one lead source. Don't depend on one of anything. Get old school as hell. Right. Do your open houses. Make your calls. I mean, prospect. Take your past clients and spirit of coffee. I mean, do all that stuff that you know you should be doing instead of depending on one lead source that could be gone in a phone call.
Right side wipeout. This is kind of like what Google did with Google AdWords to a lot of internet marketers when they took out the right side of Google Ads and only put it up. They call it the big right side wipeout. It literally destroyed and just sent probably, I think, at least 50% of marketing agencies just gone because they didn't know how to compete and survive and lost their clients, and the few that could, it just, and this is the exact same thing I think this is a sign and a signal of things to come. In general, just a change. And when you see change like this happen, it's really good to be, like you're saying, diversified. I think it's making the sphere of influence more important than ever.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, is all these companies, these lead providers are big, massive companies. A lot of them are public, right? Like Zillow. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them have been doing the same business model for years. All these companies have a quarterly shareholder meeting, right?
Yeah.
What do they want to see on the shareholder meeting?
More income, more profit.
Yep. So what's that mean?
Yeah, they're going to take care of their shareholders first, not their clients.
Exactly.
Well, Suneet, this has been an awesome, man. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. Thanks.
I appreciate you 100%, man. This has been awesome.
I appreciate you showing up, sharing your demographic farming strategy and approach, your 5 core pillars: probate, divorce, NOD, tax lien, notice of sale.
And that's real fast. Those are the parameters that are available in these counties.
Okay.
Wherever your listeners may live, there may be more data that is available.
Got it. So look for demographics where, there's an urgent situation, real life urgent situation where motivation has already been taken care of.
Yeah, distress, duress, all that.
Yeah, awesome. And then you broke down your 3 steps: get the data, make a list every week, update it, and then you gave your marketing strategy and approach. I really appreciate it, my man. For those of you who are listening, you can also go check out 100commissionsacramento.com. 100, the number's 100, the word commission, singular, commission, and then Sacramento. 100commissionsacramento.com. Go check that out. And you're gonna be able to get more content and information from Suneet and everything that's going on in his universe and his world. And again, also plug in with Real Closers on Facebook. You can just search Real Closers. It's an awesome Facebook group. And also check out Lab Code Agents on Facebook as well. They're 2 of the best groups on, I would think, 2 of the probably top 10 Facebook groups on, 2 of the top groups on Facebook in terms of quality of content and community that are serving real estate agents and helping agents grow. Like
listeners, being part of these groups totally changed my real estate career and the trajectory of everything in my life, right? I had now these virtual mentors and virtual associations that help me increase everything. Awesome. Well, Suneet, on behalf of myself and the summit, thank you so much, my man. We appreciate you. Thanks for this. Thank you.